I also want to talk about another issue. Can you move Enthalpy in here?
Oh my
So
god.
do you want us to pull up or what? Like, do we need to hand you
Is
an
that a
elf?
joke? Or I'm not gonna be dissing you guys on your own podcast. So
Wow.
I'm just the best
Can,
ever, so I just never
can
lose.
Enthalpy be moving in?
Okay. Enthalpy, you have 5 seconds. Go.
For what? For what?
No way, he's a mute. Oh, okay.
Nah, he got
What are
interviewed
you-
2 weeks ago. Remember?
Yeah, he's the owner of Arcadius.
Oh,
Alright. What's the topic of today?
Evo fold.
Well, first we're gonna talk
Have
about
Deadpool.
Factions HQ. What I've been hearing. So basically, Factions HQ is like a faction server, obviously. And one of their staff members is, I want to say, extorted. If you don't know what that word means, you probably should go look it up. Basically, I've heard that something is going to happen to Factions HQ very soon. But that's all I have to say about it. I don't have anything else to say.
Or like an exposed video?
Probably both. I just heard things up in the wide tree of Faction 7.
Yeah.
Will said,
Faction
talk about
HQ.
Packet getting demoted. What?
No, she resigned.
She resigned.
Demoted.
Yeah.
Where was
They couldn't have demoted her.
Yeah, Packet was actually,
invaluable.
I was friends with Packet, but all of PP hates Packet for some reason. Well,
I wonder why.
I'm pretty sure she banned half of my faction from Archon.
For what?
Or
For what
blacklisted.
reason?
For doxing and
Oh, for doxing.
assessing and stuff.
Oh.
But she always says, they always say that they always get SS by Packet. I've never gotten SS by Packet.
Well, she's the blacklist guy. Every single time I made a ticket,
Actually, a girl.
it's always been packaged.
Unfortunately, she's a girl.
Mines have been silly boy.
So they
I
boy
think-
thinks he can screen share.
I think you
Yeah.
should bring up the
Sure.
fact having how it got terminated.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Oh,
Fat Kevin
yeah.
got terminated. Biggest L dance I've ever seen in my life for something so dumb and so little.
To see all these servers supporting them though, these big servers supporting them, I think that's pretty cool. I'll give them that. I think that's pretty solid.
Did you see that Joker got put in retired? Factions retired?
I don't know about
Did they
that.
ask for it?
No. Joker still plays on
Yeah, but
Kraken
they don't
MC.
play as Joker. I just will not lie.
Joker's been through a lot of shit, a lot of turmoil in that faction. I've spoken to Dylan a couple times.
That's true.
There's the whole holy kind of gang that broke off. Alouettes and Graved have always done their own thing. I mean, they haven't played one map altogether in a while. Not a while.
Since broccoli.
Yes, it's broccoli. And then they had a beef situation with Triad, but very unstandable faction. Unsustainable.
Dang, they calling you out, Dizzle.
Somehow we get by, you know.
Nah, Dizzle's my boy. I've known Dizzle since I was in Harmless in like 2017. But you know, it's not fault his faction. It's not his fault that all the bullshit happened. Like, Holy was a bad guy. He was a bad influence.
Oh please.
Vision
There's
says
not-
the Christmas map with Joker was shit because of the staff. But they're a fun group. Yeah, Joker is a fun group. I remember
You're not wrong.
when they were playing Flabs and I got Black Pony blacklisted. And then Mythos got demoted because he told me something about Black Pony. And then Nithos was butthurt because he demoted Joker. And I didn't know. We weren't that good friends with Joker yet. PPG and Joker. So,
I mean, Nithos was.
I mean, Nithos and Narwhal and Hunter were the only ones in Joker or actually playing with
That's
them.
bougie.
Oh. Yeah.
I do want to ask Janie about
Yeah.
her relationship status with Just Banter NY.
What?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
That's
I heard
What?
about that.
Janie is in an
No,
intimate relationship with
No,
Just
I'm
Banter
not.
NY.
What?
Banter and I are
They
only
live
friends.
Very close to each other, and they frequently go to each other's house. And
No, I have never met Banter in real life.
see, he just told me a different story.
Okay, well, Banter's lying.
He's a trustworthy guy. I mean,
How do you
Okay,
feel
and I'm
about
a
this,
trustworthy
Mythos?
person as well.
why would
Mythos
just
got her
Banner lie?
butt
Why?
hurt.
Why'd he lie?
Mythos.
No need
He's
to
like
lie.
sending me screenshots of your DMs, and
What
it's
do
like
you mean?
you found the new micro sushi,
I
the new Blake.
literally.
It's just Banner lie. You know, I'm happy for you, but there's like,
Okay,
what are you
one.
guys like? What are you calling it?
Hold on a sec. One, never eat it in micro. Two, never eat it in general.
Well, that's just a
Three,
lie, but
what? Me and micro? That is not a lie.
I think there's 300 triad
I
demons
think
out there
there's
that
a
will
lie
worship him.
going on in here.
No, you can literally ask any of the higher ups. Like, genuinely ask them, did we actually? They'll say
See, there's a
no.
lot of cap in
That's
this channel
not
right now,
a
but it's not
lie.
coming from me. It's not coming from me.
If we did, I would have said yes, but I don't do that, so I said no.
Hmm.
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 Wait, so you are eating some?
Eating? Yeah, I'm
Just Banner
eating
and why?
someone.
You're eating
No.
someone?
No.
He's a nice guy. He's a good guy.
Banter's a good guy.
He's a good guy. Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't.
But
It doesn't
There's
take away
not too
from the
much
fact that-
faction news this week.
Oh my lord.
besides the Evo Archon,
Factions
Yeah,
have been.
Factions is dead right now.
Yeah.
Wait till the summer rolls around and then you have all these
well, actually, Spook is planning a comeback. Nano Fusion is currently on the look for factions to play against him. Avire is coming back in late March, and Nano Fusion is trying to plan an Easter map on Archon Onyx. That's kind of unreleased
thanks
news,
Heroic for following.
but Nano Fusion is trying to bring back the Spook guys. He's
Oh.
messaged a lot of leaders. Like, thing about Nano Fusion though is like he doesn't understand that factions like Rari and Negros are not going to play him, and he's like messaging like kids that haven't played in months. Like he's messaging Stubbies. Who else? He's messaging I don't know, just random faction guys.
I don't know. Every big faction's kind of retired now, so.
Yeah, like
The
he's
ppgang.
planning this Evo Pluto map. If it is gonna happen, if it was gonna happen, I don't even know what to call it. This would have been the last big factions map. Because in Pluto, we're all talking. We're like, yeah, I don't know if we'll continue after this. Like, there's just not enough hype. There's not enough people in the community. I mean,
Well,
we've got the leaders from like 6 different factions all in Pluto. So there's just no one to play. There's just no one to play. I mean, leaders of Negros, leaders of Peppa, Rangas. I mean, I can
I
go
feel
on.
like
It's
when
probably
the summer
more.
rolls around, we'll see some new big factions in a play.
maybe, but
I know
the only
9
thing
and
that's
9
going to bring those
pretty
big
good.
factions is big payouts.
well,
That's
yeah,
true.
we were talking about Starcade and how Starcade is going to do their big 10K payout. And
Is that
people-
confirmed?
Well, someone said on the staff team that's happening,
Oh yeah.
but
Well,
they're really talking
it makes
about
sense.
Ranga's coming back, Triad, all like the huge factions.
I don't think Triad will ever come back. Rangas, I don't think will come back either. I think Spook will try to make a comeback, and they'll have the Rangas members as well as just random kids they pick up off the street. But Triad's done, Karma's done. Those guys are done.
GG Heroic hitting 3K on YouTube. That's big. Yeah. GG Heroic.
I actually heard a little drama. I'm not gonna say which partner I heard it from, but a partner was really ripping on Heroic. He's like, Heroic's one of the only partners on Archon that just is completely fake. Like he says he's grinding, he just logs off and takes a break. He like says he's like cutting, he just logs off and takes a break. He like says he's doing all this shit, he just logging off, like freeloading. I heard that from another partner. I'm not gonna say who because it would bring a lot of drama, but
That true Heroic?
yeah, people are saying that. They're like, Heroic's 100% fake. I mean, they're wrong, obviously. Like, I was playing with Heroic on Pluto, and he's not hitting Kane, he's not printing Cactus, but he's there. Like when he's recording, he's there. Like throughout the entire collection of clips.
We
But-
have to realize that also, like the factor of like editing all of those clips together, because like
Yeah.
Heroic could probably like 60K gigabyte or 60 gigabytes of video, and then sift through all of those to see if he actually wants to use that, and then edit it all together, and then make a video.
Yeah.
And then like, I guess another thing is just like really promoting the video in the community, because like Faction 7 right now, it's only big Discord, but also you have to post all your like videos in like faction Discords, like Wranglers.
Yeah, they posted in the Archon.
Ppgang
There's a new
Public,
channel
yeah.
now. The creators channel is what they made.
But honestly, what I want to know is what's going on with Vicious PvP, that entire server. I tried to do some research myself and go into the deep crevices, but no one's responding to me, and also it's like the staff team is just kind of dead, not there.
I never even heard of that server. Vicious PvP.
Nah, they were supposed to have a good map. I swear they had Dexter and Heroic playing this one map together. I think that was Vicious. Yeah, it was.
Oh, is
Vicious.
that Dexter's server?
Yeah.
It was
That's what
Dexter
Biggie
versus
Morris
Heroic.
plays, right?
Yeah, Biggie Morris paid. They got the $600 payout,
Good for them.
which is a big payout, but I'll have to ask Biggie Morris, the leader, to see if they actually did pay out that $600.
Do you mean the 1,700?
No, the
What are you
F
looking
top 1. I doubt they'll scam F top 2. Or even if, like, I'll just have to ask all those leaders, because
So we can we get a little more scoop on the Faction HQ situation?
Oh yeah. So thanks for the follow. Basically, someone on the staff team has done something where they have exposed their account, and more details will come soon, of different things on their PC, etc. I would like to warn them before, but I mean, I'm not too sure how confirmed it is and if it's actually happening, but we'll see when the next release of Faction HQ comes out. But I honestly know that they're not doing too well in the staff department. A little slack in some of the staff on there. It's just weird to me how they have a mod doing a senior admin's job, or so it's always been confusing for me for that server. Besides the fact, I haven't heard anything about the server being laggy or anything, but I heard their setup is not the best.
You know, one of the things about Factions HQ, I was playing there last week with one of my factions. It's just like Moveback kept like phasing into our box, he kept V-clipping in. And it took them so long like to handle the situation. And even like after they said it was handled, it wasn't. Like they didn't do half the things we asked. So like the issue was we set up on the Teletubbies faction. We set up on them 3 different times. All different times cannon spontaneously blows. Like 4th time we kept someone in there with replay mod, and sure enough, Moveback's running on top of the box, running the command .vclip -5, segging the entire thing, and then just going to spawn. And it's like what he did the entire time. And so obviously they banned him. They rolled back the cannon. They rolled back their walls. They gave us some TNT, and that was it. And I was like, that's not enough. Like, you have to push back their shield. They have to be striked a number of times. There has to be a big punishment. And pretty much the only punishments were just the multiple bans on Moveback and his alts.
We didn't have any issues when he just came off the Arcadius map. He didn't have any issues with that.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. I don't
He was
know.
well
But,
behaved. I had no issues with Moveback. I thought they were a pretty good faction to play or to have play on your server.
Yeah, it wasn't his faction though. When it's his faction, which his name on the line, it's a different ordeal.
Yeah.
But
he played
that
under.
Teletubbies faction is not his. He just joined as a member and was helping them raid.
Gotcha.
So obviously his reputation is not on the line. But it was pretty depressing. It was pretty depressing.
Heroic, going back to the heroic topic, he said, bro, I make it very public. I only log on to record, but I never ask act or ask for payout without editing thumbnails. I would like to be able to play an extra 4 hours. LOL. Plus, on dead maps, I mean, what's the point? I generally grind during Corona, but I don't have the time anymore.
Well,
That's a fair argument.
what this partner told me is he said, when you're a faction's creator, your viewers are expecting you to be an active part of the faction's community, to know what's going on, to know what your faction's planning to do, to know, you know, the news of the map, the drama of the map, etc. And so when you're logging on just to record, you know absolutely zero what's going on. You no background to educate your viewers on. There's no continual story per episode. Like if you watched any of the Camping Rushers videos, I mean, he obviously just logged on to record, but he like there was like a story like under each video. Like they're obviously building up to this point, or they're obviously doing this point. And if you just watch like this is any of these partners' videos, it's like they're going from episode to episode. It's like completely different maps. Like the things they're doing are completely different. The people they're with are completely different. Like it's just blank slate, new video each time. It's like that's entertaining, maybe for like 10 minutes, but it's like, what am I watching? Like this is like just I'm
We have to
trying to
realize
watch
that,
something to be like hooked in.
like, factions now is basically just grinding. It's just jetting walls, going to end grinding, hitting cane or putting in cactus. So there's no really interesting part about the game mode except raiding. So
Yeah.
that's why you always see, like, even watching like different people like Heroic or Wizzy or someone like that, or Dexter, for example. It's just most of their videos are solely like 5 minutes of grinding and then pushing to like TNT, basically clips of them raiding, even if they don't get it in or get into the base or don't even like.
It's also super hard on dead maps. Like Heroic played with us last map, and to his credit, we really had no content for him. But I remember if you guys know the Globfather back from the Starcade New Year's map, he was in Rari. That guy was streaming every day, and Rari was always being raided every day. They were always being raided, and so he would always stream them being raided and patching it the wrong way because just like this stupid guy. And it was just so funny to watch because like there's actually shit going on, and if like they weren't being raided, he would be like trying to like go snag our post or some shit. But on the dead maps, obviously you get none of that. None of that.
Thanks for the follow. I'm pushing off
Yeah.
of the YouTuber topic. I want to talk about Dominion. Dominion, people have been telling me about Dominion, and I haven't heard anything bad. And we played Dominion, but it seems like over there everything's pretty custom. Everything is basically good. I just think sometimes with factions there can be too many cooks in the kitchen. So what that means is just basically like all the management team is kind of like in order, but you know, if I have the owners are pretty active in doing owner stuff, but if I have like 8 people responding to my ticket, it's hard to kind of figure out where I am in the ticket, unless it's like a ticket about like opinions or something, if I'm getting opinions from staff. But besides that, when we played, there was no issues except them changing rules mid-map, getting striked for something very dumb. So besides that, the actual
Those
setup
aren't
is pretty
small
good.
issues. Those are not small issues. Changing rules mid map is
A big issue, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
something we experienced on Arcadius.
We
But
we really talked to some of the staff about it, and he was just saying that like these rules are supposed to be added before the map, but we honestly can't tell. Like we can't actually prove that, but we have screenshots of them like changing it like while the map is going on. So it's pretty funny. I'll have to post it as in ppgang public very soon. Heroic said, I probably know which partner said that, but reply about them. I only upload so often due to my current schedule. I only play factions. Yeah, I mean, no one's like obviously heroic. Like even Dexter was in ppgang and he didn't do anything, but like it was just the fact he was there and just in the factions. But you have to realize that the hardest thing for you is just you're like recording a dead game mode, right? And at some point you'll have to like kudos to you, like you did a very good job on and still doing a very good job on getting viewers and you know subscribers. I would say you're like the number one YouTuber right now in the factions community, but you're also, it's so hard to record a dead game mode, and I like understand where you're coming from.
Now, what's some ways would you say DQT are the ways you would try to I guess you'd say re-bring back to life the game mode? Like, what would you want to see?
Dang. That's a good question. Big thing is just like this actual staff team. Like I was talking to some of the ppgang leaders, and we were talking about how a server, like back in the day, let's say 2019, let's roll back to 2019. Yeah, we had issues with cannoning. Everyone had issues with cannoning. Jars were hard to come by. Very good jars were hard to come by, but now that's not the case. You can buy a setup and it be perfect and not lag. But it's really coming down to the staff team and how organized they are. So I think the really big thing is just like having a better staff team, and then adding custom features like Starcade. They're adding the feature where like it's based on the theme. So Starcade is based on, Star Wars. So they have lightsabers, and the only way you can build lightsabers is with like the mantle, the Cairo crystal, and the actual sword part, which I think is really, really cool. And that's a very cool custom feature for raiding outpost types things. But like there's something that we're sitting on that we haven't figured out, that's gonna be a whole new change to faction.
So you're more looking for a drastic change, and
Yeah,
it's kind of rinse and repeat on a lot of servers from what I've noticed.
yeah, everything's just in repeat, especially with like smaller servers. Let's take like faction or vicious, those kind of servers. Those kind of servers are just rinse and repeat, or tribal MC or like that. That's why, like, I don't know if this is dirt. Correct me if I'm wrong, there. You're the one that said that
Disconnected.
the server basically it's too spread out. It's like HCF. There's too many faction servers in the community, and so there might be a big community, but there's no one playing one server, so it's really just drawn apart.
Yeah, I mean, what
I
the
can
factions
see that.
community does best is kind of answering calls at certain times. So, like, for example, I remember if you talk about 2019, there was really only Archon and Vanity, and no one thought of playing a server other than those two. I mean, obviously, there was a couple bumping around, like maybe Ostia was up then. I mean, Ostia's been through a lot of problems. Maybe maybe another server was up then, but
Big one.
it's always been Archon or Vanity. And I think a lot of just factions players recognized that and jumped on the opportunity to create a new network. And so right now you've got like 100 networks, just 100 networks out there. And the new problem that factions community is having is just like player base. I mean,
Yeah.
although there is a lot of players, there's not a lot of big factions, and big factions drive the game mode. You can't base the game mode off of 5-mans and 10-man factions, because those will just dwindle down to smaller and smaller. But with bigger factions, like big factions, like back when Bougie was a thing, they'll expand into other factions. Like Bougie was the creation of ppgang, Joker, etc. North Korea. I mean, Abzia was like the creation of like a number of factions as well in North Korea as well. Can't name them off the top of my head, but
I think a big thing is just like like yeah, heroic. There's too many servers, and I feel like there's just nothing new. Like I go on the server and it's the same thing, print a cannon or just hit cane. Like that's all the same. I think the biggest thing was like Archon adding that end grinding spot, which a lot of people like, and I think it's really cool. But I think everyone can add new features to the server to just make it fun. If one server is different from the other, then like I guess the reason why people are making it the same, so they can just hop on the server and do the same thing and get the payout.
I could see that. I think it's like Heroic said, it's kind of just servers that it's just factions looking for free map wins, and you kind of see that more and more. Like it's not even about any day like nowadays. Like, oh, you're good comp, we're gonna come play you. It's really not like that anymore. Now it's just kind of gotten to the point where it's
Which server
you
is the
know
most free?
yeah, the
Yeah.
most free payout. That's kind of the way. I guess you could say servers like Starcade, Vanity, and Archon aren't too much like that because you kind of go there to play and actually play a real map of factions. But there's no more just servers where you can just have fun, and it's all about now free map wins.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things I've noticed is never ever before, have I actually had to plan maps with the other factions, with the managers in call.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I had to do that with Irma back before the Christmas map, obviously Christmas map. But now I'm like planning just the next map that we're gonna play. Like I'm either talking to Smalley, download speed, Silly Boy. Um, don't really talk to Scott anymore from Vanity because they've got a lot of problems with like jars and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, you really have to like message factions and convince them why they have to play you now, which is like the first step in the game dying. I mean, that's like the first step. I know everyone's always been saying the game is dying. I've played this game for years and years and years, and never before have I actually had to beg a faction to come and play against me like I have now, and like I have to now. Just like just have to beg
And
them.
we saw that today when the call we were with Olympus.
Yeah,
We saw that today. So yeah, that's definitely a prime example that there's no more servers owning or factions owning certain servers and you
yeah,
go out and play them. There isn't any more of that.
yeah. I mean, we're trying to run a 5 man's unlimited roster map in like a week or two, on March 6th, and you know we're looking for factions to come, multiple factions, and the map's not going to be fun if only one faction shows up. And you know the first priority of any server owner or of any player is just making sure people have fun. And when it's only one faction, especially a good faction, like no one's gonna have fun. No one's gonna have fun. There's no point. And that's what
No,
happened on the Starcade map, the last one with Wogros and Peppa. Yeah, that was. You should definitely talk about that DQT with that was a couple of days ago.
The only thing that I know about that is Wicca's won, right? They won the map.
No. They disbanded.
Or
They disbanded before TNT
Peppa
started.
won the map, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So what I know about Peppa is Peppa was just a small faction when I used to play. It just was
Mhm.
like a random Ruby. Like they were one of the type of factions to play a server with no payout, right? So I think it's really cool to see this faction turn into a medium-sized faction and then play for comp. But like I said, like the factions community is so spread out. So I see Peppa on this server, but I also see them on this other server. So it's like the demeanor of winning Starcade is really just nothing because they can go to another server and win another server, right? And the comp is the same because they're calling out the same people, right? Or versions. I'll say this: there's factions out there that are the same people but like named differently, right? I'm trying to think of an example. Oh, Triad and Biggie Morse, same people.
Yeah.
Same, so
Spot on.
it doesn't really matter. Like if you go to Starcade and disband, or Wooka's disband, I mean, they're gonna go to a different server under a different name and do the same thing all over again. So I mean, doesn't matter with the rep or anything in factions anymore. Like back when I played, Wolf, Triad, Absia, all those big factions that were still around, Karma, like those factions. A big thing was like they had rep, like they still have rep of being a actual big faction, but you know all these other little factions, Peppa, Yeti, trying to think of more. Let me I have a
I think a
list of
good
them.
way to entice the community in that way, if you were to do, I think if it comes down to, people looking for free map wins, what about if faction servers were to give more of an incentive to where, 5 man's, in my opinion, is a popping game mode, right? Is a popping roster size. I think that's fair to say, right?
Yeah.
You
Yep.
get the most fun out of it. Now, my thing is, what about these servers, that can do those big 1K payouts? They run it at a 5 or 10 man speed. I think at that rate, it would that would probably be one of the biggest maps out there, but it would attract so many people to come play.
Oh yeah, for sure, for
I
sure.
think
'Cause people don't have the numbers anymore.
they don't have the numbers anymore, but they still want that high payout, and that's what a lot of factions are looking for. So
Absolutely.
if you're
People are having
running
to merge. They have to merge to go to those
exactly,
high payout maps.
exactly.
They wouldn't
But
have to.
if you open it up to the smaller guys, that I think, in my opinion at least, that would be a good idea
Yeah.
to
I mean,
possibly do.
the only problem there is for the server owners. Like, how are you gonna make profit? Like, definitely have to think about that.
Well, I also see a big thing is like, okay, we're gonna go play 5 mins, right? So let me tag in the Discord and say that we're playing 5 mins, and then the issue is you have 5, right? But you really have to rely on those top 5. But then the other issue is you have more than 5, and they're waiting to get rotated in, and
Unless
that's why a lot of like 5 mins are wanting a higher payout. It's so they could pay the other people out that joined the faction that got rotated in. Because let's say Treeway joined my faction, right? And he was grinding during Grace, and Treeway just disappears, and I had to rotate someone else in. I mean, I'm gonna have to pay Treeway for his work. He did a lot in payout. Or Grace, he hit the 5 mil cane. So I'm gonna have to pay him out because he helped our faction, but I have to pay this other person now because they helped us during TNT.
yeah, no, that's definitely a solid way to look at it, 100%. That, if you offer a higher payout to these lower roster sizes, then again, server owners, they need to make their money. Like, I'm a
Yeah.
server owner, you don't want to go negative a map. That's not good, right? But I feel
Understand.
like if you offer such big of a payout for like a 10 man's map, you could expect countless 10 men showing up.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure. You would have a Pluto 10 man there. You would have a Triad 10 man there. You would have
Pluto, Rip,
Vegan.
Hydra, Spook,
Everyone would be there.
Karma. I mean, these kids, they'd come out of nowhere. They'd come out of holes.
Yeah, they would. It would literally be like that. It would be like ant holes, and they would all just jump right up. And I honestly think that that's kind of where the future's going. And I don't see you not making your money back on a map like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
So Starcade, if anyone's here
it's got to
from
happen.
Starcade,
I mean, obviously,
wink.
if it happens, we can really see if that server went profitable, and then that can be a marketing for factions in the future. But
Well,
someone's got to try it.
I
And
think
it's-
a big
it's the
thing,
first one
and
to try it.
people are not realizing this, and we just need more people to come to the community. It doesn't matter if they play factions or don't play factions. Basically, we just need more people to come into the community and learn how to play factions. So, this is a good example. So, on Archon, I know there's a couple of Skyblock leaders playing Ruby right now. They never played factions, never ever played factions, and so they're trying out factions right now. But I mean, that's 10 more people added to the community. 10 more people added to the Faction 7 Discord, 10 more people added to, just the community in general. So those 10 people really impact the community because, I mean, right now, I think, honestly, I'll be honest, like, I probably know a lot of leaders right now, just in the factions community. and they're really just looking for more people to be active because, like I said, we can have someone play Olive Great but never show up for TNT.
You know, that's a big risk if they don't make the money back. Then they will need
Yeah.
to make a big profit. So it obviously is a big gamble, but now that I'm really thinking through it, I think you could see that in a future for a lot of servers, possibly doing like a 750 map or even a 600 map on a 5 man's 10 roster. I think that would be a solid move, and I think that might be something. I look into that. I think that's a solid move.
I think also, I'll be really honest, is like servers, like I've been really thinking about this and having ideas for servers. So I was thinking just opening the server when you're ready. When you have custom features, something new to the server. So each release is different, but you don't release every week. You release every other week or every other month or every month, right? And then have a 1 week map. I mean, the only thing that you're paying for as a server, this is looking at it as a server owner aspect, is you're paying for that payout that month, but you also have custom features to the server, right? But then you move on to the next month and you have more custom features. I mean, you're paying for the custom features, you're paying for the dedicated server, and you're also paying for the payout. So those three things that you're paying for. But people are really looking for something new every map, so they'll come to your server and spend that money. But you just have to be very smart about it.
No, definitely. And I think I'll be completely honest, after that conversation there, you could see my server doing that. I think so. I think honestly, it would attract so many people, and it would honestly bring back the old type factions that a lot of people are missing.
Yeah.
I I honestly, yeah, that was big brain right there because that's what people want. They want fun and they want money.
Yeah.
Money will trump anything in factions. I think everyone's decided that,
Yeah,
right?
that's very true. Yeah.
So it all really depends. But to be fair, I think that's not even a bad move for bigger servers like Starcade, who can take that gamble.
Yeah.
But a 10 man's or a 5 man map, and you throw like 600 or 500 on the line,
Oh yeah.
you lose. If
People
you
will
lose
spend the
that,
money.
you're you're in a little, you're in a hole there. But
That's what server owners are not realizing. They're losing so much money on those maps that are in between the big maps, right? So let's say, I mean, if a server owner is always predicting that the map, or they're trying to get a big map, they're spending all their time. They're basically spreading out their time. So they're doing all these little maps to get to that big map, but you're spending money on all those little maps.
Oh yeah.
So why don't
I
you
think
just cut out all those little maps?
a prime example is either Archon or Vanity.
Yeah.
Archon, above and away. I mean, they're holding maps back to back every week. So the last big map on Archon was obviously the Nitro Evo map. Even if you would call that a big map, I mean, calling it a big map is generous. And after that, we went over there and we played a dead map. Archon did not make a dime. Like, there is not one kid in my
Oh, yeah.
faction that spent a dime. And if not one kid in the biggest faction that's playing is spending money, there's not going to be anyone else in F top 1 through, or F top 2 through 10 that's
But
going
you
to
have to also
spend over
think
$100.
Archon is, who said this? Someone said in our faction, or someone in the podcast said, Archon is ran by it's a company. It's an actual company.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
ran like a company. Basically, it's not catering, because let's say, we add a custom feature and then everyone wants it onto Archon. They want to see how they do it. That will be added in 5 months. Like, Silly Boy will take that long to figure those out, or figure something out in the community. Like Raiding Outpost. Raiding Outpost has been a thing for a long time, and it took Silly Boy maybe 3 months to implement it into the Archon.
Longer than that.
longer than that, yeah.
Took him like a year, dude. Took him like a year. I mean, think about how long Arpost has been around on Vanity.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Silly Boy implemented it, after quarantine. Like,
You know what?
jeez.
That's not a. I think honestly, Faction Heaven, if there's anyone here from Faction Heaven that's staff, I think there should be a meeting held with all the fac leaders that can attend, and everyone just sits down and works out certain suggestions that they want to see. I know that that call might be yelling and screaming, but factions, it's rinse and repeat, like I mentioned. You gotta sit down with everyone and work out something they want to see, and then just dedicate those features that they want to see onto the server. And I think that would be a super fun map. Could you imagine a map where you had all the OG factions and all the new gen factions playing?
Yeah, but then
Tell me that wouldn't be a fun map.
But then we have to think about is the staff aspect. They really need a staff team that's in lock, knowing what they're doing, responding to tickets. That's a big thing about Archon is my ticket doesn't get responded for 2 to 3 days, right? Especially with the faction staff. I know Skyblock and prisons and all those, they actually get responded pretty fast, but factions wise, my ticket gets responded to, takes 2 days to get something resolved, right? So that's a big thing is that whatever server decides to do that is they really need to figure out their staff team.
It really just depends on the solid map you have, and I honestly think after this discussion, I'm gonna work something out like that because that would be a fun thing to do. Sit down with everyone, decide what anyone wants to see, and I think that's what you really need to do. And I know Treeway here can jump in, but you really got to sit down with everyone and figure out this is what you want to see. If we can make that happen, if we can make it happen, you guys got a good map because everything's just printing a cane farm, hitting cane, raiding. Like it's not fun anymore. It's I think that's why the community's dying. Is there's no interest in it. There's no interest to keep playing. If that makes sense.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
There's nothing that's retaining these factions to keep playing.
There's
I think-
nothing keeping them here.
If Heroic
Exactly.
is here, I'm pretty sure you can attest to this, but like old factions, like fun things for recording team fights. And that's definitely a fun thing now is to team fight another faction, right? But we're all stuck in arcane farms, we're all stuck in our, cactus farms, and it really comes down to how the eco is shaped, how we can change it. But also another factor is everyone cheating. Definitely a big thing on the Archon, but
Well, moments are made on big maps. Moments that last forever in all of faction's history and that last forever throughout the community that people remember people by happen during big maps. One example. The incident that happened with me and Chatty Daddy like a year ago or 2 years ago. People still message me about that all the time. Like, oh, Chatty Daddy roasted you. During the Absia Triad map when I joined call and Chatty Daddy was like, I don't know, roasting me or something like that. But you don't really get those moments. Like you don't get like the calls and Absia, like the arguments with Ultra Phoenix, like the arguments with I don't know, like you guys probably have your own experiences, but like you don't get those unless you're in like a big map in which there's a lot of things going on. Like if you're playing Archon by yourself, or you're playing a 5-man's map by yourself, because that's happening a lot. I mean, a lot of factions are going to these random servers like Tribal MC, Insurgents MC, like servers that are complete random servers, and they're playing with their boys, right? But they're not having any of these like memories. Like they're not making memories. Like I don't know. Like everyone knows what I'm talking about. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. And the only way to have those memories is just to keep factions playing against each other, to keep hype in the community, to keep interest in the community. And right now, the only thing that can get that hype, that can get that interest, is money.
Yeah.
Before, when Karma, Nug, Spook, all those guys played in their prime, it was ego and rep. You played, you wanted to be on top for the ego and the rep. You didn't care if a map was X amount of money. But now, everyone's getting hype. Everyone's gonna get hype if this Starcade 10K map comes out, and memories will be made that map. But until then, it's just
I think
same old.
someone said I feel like servers need to have more events. Like back in the day, Vinny had events with their Discord and seeing. Yeah, most definitely. Everyone forgot about that type. when I was you know, what was it? I was manager on the Tempest, and I had a rapping contest. Legit, everyone from the server, even people that didn't play the server, came to the rapping contest. And I think that's a thing that we forgot about. It's just the rap battles, the
karaoke challenges.
karaoke, roof arts. Odyssey was the funnest thing ever on Archon. Even if
Staff players.
even if it was a dead map, it didn't even matter. Odyssey was so fun. And I think we're really missing those kind of events because that's what really logged on those people. And I truly agree with you. But yeah, now we're just doing like it's just stale. You come on the map, you print in Kane, you hit Kane, you get spawners, you do. I mean, it's repetitive. But honestly, everything should be. I mean, I was thinking in the past. I quit. I think I quit at the beginning of this year of 2020. And then realized that I was thinking that the server would come back or factions would come back, but when I just came back to the community, it was all like the same. But I mean, what changed was there's overstackers and different cannons, you know.
Yep. All right. I'm gonna have to head out, DQT, but thank you for having me on.
All right, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm gonna have to head out soon in a second as well.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Don't want to leave you with anyone here to
All right.
not chat with. Take it easy, Treeway.
Yep. See you later.
So yeah. I don't really know what else is going on in the factions community. There's a little bit, unless you want, I don't know if you want to talk about the events today, but
Oh yeah, so Arcadius. Talk about that. So basically, I mean, the management at this point didn't know what they were doing. They were kind of just there to like. I mean, they did a very good job with the staff. But if you guys ever like realize, or you know, if you've never been staff or never been actually in on the staff team on a server, basically the management's a big thing. It's how the team is organized, what the management's doing, basically how they make decisions, right? And so the management sometimes has a big say in what development wise goes into the server. But I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know the game mode, you don't know what you're doing. So the managers are basically people like, they just remind me of MCM managers. If you guys don't know what those are, they're just generic managers that their approach to managing a server is like you going to the grocery store and that's the same manager, like type B, you know. So Ted, this morning, one of the managers decided to leave Arcadius and took the, like, I don't want to say the entire staff team, but about, 45% of them, and then one of the owners. I mean, it doesn't really look good for him. I mean, he didn't know what he was doing.
We didn't lose too many staff. It was more just when those staff resigned, we lost two managers and an owner and an admin. Obviously, that happens when managers resign, but then again, there's not much you can do about it, right? Like, you can't really. There's nothing you can do about it. It happens, right?
Yeah.
But definitely though, that we got that fixed pretty quick. There isn't a point to have a manager. I think that's kind of what it's come down to. There is not a point of having a manager. That management role is just kind of just there, in my opinion. It's just there. If you've got a good admin team, the manager doesn't really do much, right?
Well, the whole point of, like, I guess I really had Dominion staff team. It was, so basically it was a manager, Dave. He was the head manager. And then they had 3 other managers under Dave. Basically, one was an in-game manager, one was a staff manager, and one was an in-game manager. Or like, what he did was kind of like in-game and staff. But the admins would choose, and senior admins would choose well, no, it was the senior or admins that would choose what they wanted to do. So
Exactly.
staff or assessing or just in-game focusing strike team. That's what it was. So I really like how that was set up. But the big thing was like the mentoring, and then your mentoring actually caring what was going on. Those type things, they were really nice to have. But like I said, when I was over there at Dominion, there was a lot of too many cooks in the kitchen, right? And so, I mean, there's a whole way to handle a staff team different ways, but I feel like Dominion right now is the best at it. I mean, to be honest, I think Dominion would be pretty up there in the staff teams. I mean, you can take, Vanity, for example. They're not doing too well. Their staff is barely on. It's really just senior mods running the show. So, yeah.
Yeah. There isn't too much really to talk about.
Yeah, I think we covered mostly everything. I'm gonna say, so there was something that I had here that was pretty game breaking. So something else that we're adding to the stream, viewers, if you're watching this on YouTube or just watching this live, is that I'll be covering also Skyblock news. So next episode, we're gonna either have someone from the Skyblock community come on, or just have someone that knows about Skyblock and the community very well to come on the stream and talk. And then we might have another streamer or YouTuber come on the stream. Hopefully someone like Heroic or Wizzy next week. But besides that, I think that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Sorry that I missed the last podcast. My power and water and Wi-Fi all went out, so that kind of sucked for a week. So now I'm back. If you have any questions or want to report anything to the ppgang podcast, you can always message me on Discord. If you are in Faction 7, you can just look me up. It's DQT #001. But besides
I'm gonna put a
that,
shameless plug in if you don't mind.
what?
I'm gonna put a shameless plug in if you don't mind.
All right, but
Alright, Arcadius releasing March 6th. 5-man's limited roster, 250 F top 1. If you guys are looking, discord.gg/Arcadius, or go to the faction server in Fat Heaven. And yeah.
all right, yeah. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Weird week, but like I said, if you want to report anything to me or just want to be on the podcast or be part of the podcast crew, definitely message me. I'm looking for people to have a set of podcast crew, so just message me. It doesn't matter if you're in ppgang or not, but have a good day, guys, and hope to see you at the next podcast. All right, see ya.